Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. Over the past 7 years, we've understood what matters most to you, the entrepreneur. And in year 8, we're taking head-on 2 of your most pressing concerns, that of funding and mentoring. I'm Sunanda Jayaseelan, 2 small giants in focus tonight. First up, Saahas in focus. On the other side for break, Shayna is our second small feature tonight. According to reports, by 2050, global waste levels expected to touch 3.4 billion tons per year. That is, unless waste generated per person is managed sustainably. That is a very grim figure. And Shayna Ecounified traveled to Bengaluru to catch up with Saahas, which is in the waste management space, to understand the opportunities, the challenges, and what exactly it is they're doing in this space. Take a listen.
Wilma, thank you so much for giving your time here with us today.
Happy to be here.
Wilma, talk to us about the programs and the solutions that you're offering at Saahas, and who all are you catering this to?
So we have 3 business verticals, and we are looking across all these verticals to, our tagline is nature, people and technology, and conversion of waste into resources. So we work with large waste generators, the so-called bulk generators, which is the large tech parks in Bangalore, the large tech parks in, across South India. And each of these tech parks generate between 1 to 5 tons of waste per day. And we create these tech parks into zero waste campuses.
Okay.
The business model is a service fee and revenues from waste. But we work on an end-to-end basis, where right from segregation at source to the waste coming to a waste management unit embedded in the tech park or in the apartment complex that we work. And we convert, therefore, all the wet waste. Biogas or composting is used as a solution for wet waste. And, a preliminary sorting exercise in the tech park or in our customer location is how we actually manage the first level of recycling.
Sure.
So once these 2 waste streams are taken care of, you have up to 90% of all the waste that is generated in that location, getting converted into resources. So that's our first vertical. The second one is where we now offer reverse logistics systems to large brands, because today there is something called extended producer responsibility, where packaging waste, plastic waste, brands that produce it as part of their businesses are expected to channel it back into recycling. So we provide that kind of reverse logistics to large brands in the packaging plastic space, but also for electronic waste.
Right.
So that's our second vertical. And the third is closing the loop, because when you recycle, you create products, and these products have to come back into our life. So we actually enable and channel all the products back into customers, into people, so that we also sensitize people to use more recycled products. So for instance, we have T-shirts made from recycled PET, so that's our typical kind of product base that we have.
Sure. Roughly how many tons of waste are you dealing with on a daily basis?
So we are managing today 45 tons of waste per day, but we are in scale-up mode. So in the next couple of years, we would reach about 300 tons of waste per day.
Well, segregating wet and dry waste is extremely essential. So how are you segregating, and what's the process? And do you have trained employees who know the process and how to go about it?
So actually, by law today, it's mandated that the segregation should be at source. And it's not difficult. I mean, it doesn't really require us to put in that much of effort to put wet waste into one bin and all the dry waste into another bin. So wherever we work, we do a lot of work to segregate the waste at source. And then when you have these 2 waste streams, the wet waste goes into a solution, biogas or composting. And our field staff are trained to manage that, because composting is also an operationally intensive exercise, and we've created a big base of people, women, field staff that manage that fraction of waste for composting or biogas. And then all the dry waste needs to be sorted go through a secondary sorting exercise so that you can recover clean fractions. So if you're looking at plastic, there are at least 6 different types of plastic which have to go to 6 different types of facilities for recycling. So recycling is really a very operationally intensive exercise, and that's where you can create the jobs. And I think India needs to create as many jobs, and waste management could be an area that we really have to look at.
Well, 62 million metric tons is what India is generating at the moment. Do you see a shift in the mindset of people? And what are the few things that India still needs to adopt when it comes to recycling?
Yeah, so the mindset is changing, I would say, but not as quickly as the waste being generated. So we really have to quickly move forward for people understanding that, you know, whilst consumption is taking place and, you know, probably helping in the economy in that sense, we have to put equal effort into putting systems and processes which now have to move pace with our consumption. Absolutely. Yeah, and formally, I mean, up to, you know, the last few years, there's a great focus or attention put on the fact that informal sector, you know, manages all our waste. Now, the informal sector has done a great job, but they've worked more or less in isolation. Sure. We do need now to formalize those systems. We need to introduce technology, but appropriate technology, which will recover resources, and not just technology that will, you know, just be for the sake of technology. Absolutely. Yeah, technology is an enabler. So currently, waste management and resource recovery in India is very much at, you know, maybe 20-25 years to what the rest of the world is. We are behind. So we have a lot of catching up to do.
Well, Saahas has initiated initiatives with recycling in Gurugram and Bengaluru previously. So what are some of the key takeaways that other cities can probably adopt from them?
So the fact is that when you're dealing with waste and when you want to convert it into resources, it's an intensive operational exercise. And the mindset that we need to create is for people to understand that when you're running a business, and waste does need a business model, you cannot run a business just from the revenues from waste. Because there is just about 10% of all the waste which can actually bring you decent revenues. Sure. The rest of the waste is, you know, needs a lot of attention. The kind of recycling is also intensive. So therefore, the business model must be revenues from waste and a service fee. And that's where we see the mindsets really not quite there in India. Everywhere in the world, you have this, you know, a service fee model. But in India, it's just coming in. In India, waste management companies like us are struggling to get across the fact that we have to pay minimum wages to people that work. You know, that concept is still not there.
Well, school is what builds the foundation of a child. So do you think that sensitization towards recycling should be made mandatory in the school curriculum to bring about a permanent change?
Yes. So schools definitely, and I think everywhere in the world, the children, you know, have been the first movers in that respect to push a change. So it is something that we need to do. But if you look at even how schools manage their own waste, and I have seen that. I've seen leaves burning in a school campus, whereas leaves can be such a wonderful resource for composting. Absolutely. So I'm saying the children, along with, you know, their parents and along with school management, that mindset itself needs to change, because you need to put infrastructure for composting. You need to have, you know, a system to make sure that that composting runs. So children we should be able to reach out to our children, but we should also encourage our children to push us a little bit more, all of us collectively, so that, you know, we can have them in the next generation, you know, inherit a cleaner, a truly clean India. I'm not talking just about being visually clean.
Absolutely. Well, like you have transitioned to a private limited from being an NGO in 2013. So talk to us about how are you looking at funding?
So we've always worked on this business model. I mean, since we transitioned from an NGO to a private limited in 2013, we've always, you know, worked with a model which makes us sustainable. And that model is working with all kinds of waste, low-grade plastic, all kinds of waste. And our model has been revenues from waste and a service fee. But when we want to scale now, and we have that, the ambition, and we think we've really put in place systems for scaling up, so we are looking now to have some appropriate technology. For instance, in this material recovery facility, we have automated it to a point where there's a conveyor system, and it makes it much easier to recover the different types of waste. But we need to have sensors, we need to have the next level of technology that is required. And that's why we have gone in for a round of funding, which is small, but sufficient at this point of time for us to put in place more such material recovery facilities, more technology, and that will keep the livelihood that is required, but it will make that livelihood, especially people working with waste, give them a far cleaner, better way of managing that waste.
That's great. And as we're winding down this conversation, what is the bigger picture for Saahas and what's there in the pipeline for you?
So we are looking to grow. And we've got big opportunities because there's so much waste in India. And of course, whilst we would like that waste to be reduced, but we are really looking to scale. We are looking, we are now just raised our round of funding, which will go into the growth plans that we have.
Absolutely.
On the other side of this break, Shayna is our second small giant in focus. Do stay tuned. Back in just a moment. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. Our second small giant tonight is Shayna. Shayna Ecounified is a company that's taking plastic and making them into tiles, the first one in the country to do so at a time when the conversations and the awareness really around the use of plastic in the country is increasing more and more. Take a listen to the story, take a listen to understand the opportunities and challenges for companies which are in this space and what this very unique company is doing.
Lovely to have you on the show, Paras. We're very excited to have you on the Leaders of Tomorrow because you're the first company in India to create high-density composite polymer tiles out of plastic. How did you come up with the concept?
As Indians, we have a lot of opportunities and a lot of resources available in our country. Came up with an idea to manufacture plastic tiles that can be sustainable and used in a large quantity. And the main idea was to clean our country. So that's made us think that let's manufacture plastic tiles that can contribute in countries' infrastructure development and can be useful for the society.
Tell me more about the range of products you have under Shayna and what are the kind of other infrastructure products you're looking at under the same gambit?
Currently, we are manufacturing two types of paver tiles according to their strength capability. We are in process of making wall and floor tiles also, but they are still in prototype process.
Tell me about the partnership between CSIR and the National Physics Laboratory that enable the technology that you're using to create these plastic tiles.
I came across one article in Tribune newspaper that NPL scientists are working over the plastic waste. Then I went to meet the scientist who developed this technology. I met him and I discussed with him about my idea. So they were also very interested. Still we are in process of making some technology and there is some client who was ready to invest in this technology and ready to transfer this technology. So we both collaborated with each other and in July 2017 we got the transfer from the National Physical Laboratory. See, research and development part is done by the National Physical Laboratory. As me and my partner are not from science background, we have done the ground level work. Then we purchased the machinery and we came up with the prototype and then with the final product within 2 months.
According to UN reports, the world will create 619 tons of plastic waste every year. Are you seeing this as an opportunity? How do you think entrepreneurs can use this to innovate?
We all have to join hands and tackle it together by reuse, reduce and recycle all the products as an individual and as a entrepreneurs. Plastic is an ubiquitous product, so we cannot avoid plastic. So we at Shayna take it as a challenge and we take it as an opportunity that it will be useful for us as we are using it as a raw material. So plastic can become its own solution if we try to reuse the waste material.
How different are they from the cement tiles, and what are the challenges you face in terms of consumers who are looking to make the switch to recyclable plastic tiles?
We have a specialized quality control team which makes sure that our tiles can pass minimum 5 tests before reaching to our customers. The main challenge of waste plastic is there's a lot of labor required in segregating the plastic. There are 7 types of polymers, so we have to segregate and categorize according to their polymers, colors, and then we add some fillers to it. So obviously recycling process, it's not cheap. It's expensive, and while adding some environment friendly fillers, the price will little go up. We have been in touch with a lot of municipal corporation in many states, and we have done a couple of projects in Agra and Kanpur also. So people are now getting aware by the political parties awareness campaign like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. The process is in testing. We are using fly ash. We are planning to use sugarcane bagasse and rice leftovers. So we are in process to use it and then test it, and then if it is okay, then we'll go forward with it.
You're currently a bootstrap company. Are you looking for investors?
It's a very tough journey for us. From last 2 years, we bootstrapped our company. We invested a lot of money. Currently, we are in talks with 2 venture capitalists. So initially, we are only looking for the environmental capitalists who are environment conscious, and we had a tie-up with few environmentalists also.
The government is, like you said, promoting more cleaner environment and trying to recycle and reuse as much as waste as possible. Is the government trying to help you? What are the kind of collaborations that have fueled the growth of your company?
Yes, now the government is helping us because there is also Swachhta Sarveshan survey. According to their ranking, the municipal corporation will get funds from the central government. First breakthrough we got from Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. They opened one of its kind pet-friendly park in India. Municipal corporation wants to become a zero waste municipal corporation in every state. So they prefer to use recycled products, especially made out of waste plastic. Every municipal wants to get the higher ranking in Swachhta Sarveshan survey. So we are offering a unique product which can increase their Swachhta ranking. So Hyderabad is using, and Hyderabad came second in Swachhta ranking also.
Tell me more about the market when it comes to these tiles and blocks. How big is the market in India, and where do you see yourself here?
In 2014, tile market is around 18,000 crores. So if we'll get a 0.1% in the starting years, that will be a great achievement for us. So it's a huge market. And if we talk about India particularly, we are in a developing stage. So we need to, there are a lot of smart cities coming up and a lot of construction and infrastructure development is going on.
Tell me more about your future plans. Where do you see yourself?
With the new opportunity that we have achieved by using plastic waste, plastic can be its own solution by using different means, by manufacturing condensed boards and the existence product which are into the market. We can collect them, we can reuse them, that can create a value for business, that can protect our future, and that can save our planet. So for the single-use plastic, we are coming up with the condensed boards that can be fabricated into small houses, toilet structures, shelter homes, dustbins. We have plans. Let's see. First, we have to, clear the test of quality test of single-use condensed board. Then we'll come up with new fabricated structures and everything.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Paras. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much.
That's our show tonight. If you want to be featured here on Leaders of Tomorrow like either of our 2 small giants, do get in touch. Our contact details up on your screens in just a moment. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.